Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for that very warm welcome. What a positive and happy gathering we have here this morning. I don't think there's been such a positive meeting since Angus Robertson met the Israeli Deputy Ambassador just the other week there. I'm sure this meeting will be equally positive going forward. And as you probably know, the football season started, for those who are interested in such things. We're in the transfer window. I'm delighted that this morning Team Fraser has made 3 impressive new signings, more about whom in a moment. But of course there's still room. There's still room for more. Unfortunately, I have to tell you, we won't be making a bid for the currently transfer-listed John Mason on the SNP bench. However, the prospect of a swap deal between John Mason and Stephen Kerr is not unattractive. But can I thank my colleagues and friends, Liz Smith, Jamie Greene and Liam Kerr, for their very kind words about me this morning. And I'm especially grateful to both Jamie and Liam for setting aside their leadership ambitions to come in and back my campaign. Because there are issues about which we will sometimes disagree, but there is far more that we agree on and far more that unites us. So thank you guys for coming on board. It's really appreciated. I've also had a message from our friend and colleague Brian Whittle, who, as we know, folded his leadership campaign earlier in the week and has come in to back me. We've got apologies today from my friend Maurice Golden, previously backing Liam's campaign, and now behind me. And finally, I'd welcome my MSP colleague Graham Simpson, MSP, who's with us, and also the many other local councillors and activists who've been able to join us this morning. And that makes a total of 9 MSPs backing me in this campaign. These last few weeks have been immensely difficult for our party. Last month we saw a general election where our vote share slumped to the lowest it has ever been in our party's history. We have seen a fractious leadership contest so far, with persistent anonymous briefings against candidates, including me and my colleagues here. We have also seen concerning claims being raised about the conduct of our party's Scottish leader in relation to interference in 2 candidate selections. Our activists are angry, our members are angry, our MSPs are angry, and I am angry, and people feel let down. And when we should be turning our fire on our political opponents in the SNP and in Labour, we have been turning it on each other. The last few weeks have proven that real change is an absolute necessity. It is a matter of survival for our party. For too long in this party, we have had too much power concentrated in too few hands. And now we see the effects of that. That has to change now. It is deeply dispiriting for our activists to be asked to go out and knock on doors, make phone calls and deliver leaflets, only to have the ground cut from under them because of the behaviour of a few at the top of the party who should know better. That has to change, and under my leadership it will. That's why I've set out a 12-point plan for party reform. I want to give this party back to its members, to give them a real say in the direction of the party and a real say in the formation of policy. And my own leadership campaign is a manifestation of that. It is not just me, because I now have a team of the most experienced, sharpest MSPs ready to take forward Conservative policies in education, health, transport, housing, energy, and most importantly, the economy to the country. Now, I dare say some of our friends in the press thought my time as a leadership candidate had gone, that my ship had sailed. And if I'm honest, I agreed with them. I was happy to be a supporting act over the next 18 months. The major reason that changed was the clear need for a unity candidate to unite our MSPs and give our party back to its members. I agreed to stand for the leadership of this party simply because my colleagues asked me to. They asked for unity, and I will give it to them. Divided parties don't win elections. We need to be united to win. And as my friend and colleague Edward Mountain, MSP, said when he joined my campaign just a few days ago, the party needs to unite, and the only candidate he believes can deliver that unity is me. I have been in this party longer than all the other candidates put together. My adult life has been spent in it. I have walked the streets, knocked the doors, had my fingers trapped in letterboxes, been chased by dogs, lost, won, cried, laughed. This is my party, and I'm going to make it work. I've set aside some of the views I previously held about the structure of this party because I know that they won't unify colleagues. And I'm delighted that today I am joined by colleagues who see that need for unity and are prepared to come in behind my campaign. I want to build a team that will take this party forward, a team of all the talents. Over the last few weeks, we have seen some excellent contributions from my colleagues here, from Liz on the economy, on finance, from Jamie on how to attract younger voters, from Liam on education. We've also heard them from Brian Whittle on leadership and the need to encourage greater activity if we are to address the long-standing health problems in our population. In addition, we have Graham Simpson here, who knows more about transport than most people have forgotten. And Maurice Golden, who is respected across the political spectrum as someone who really understands the issues around net zero and climate change. As leader, these are the people I want in my team, with a broad depth of knowledge. It's a good start, but there is space in this team for more, for everyone with the talent we need to be a serious force once again. We as a party can spend another 5 weeks shouting at each other. We can spend the next 5 weeks under a cloud of suspicion and impropriety. Or we can end it. We can end it now, and as a team of MSPs, working on behalf of our members, take back control of the party. And so today I say to both Meghan Gallacher and Russell Findlay, let's bring this sorry chapter to a close. Come and join this team. Show our members and our country that we understand their frustration, that we have responded to their deep concerns. There is far more that unites us than divides us. I've been really taken by Meghan's pitch, particularly to women and younger voters, and admired her for the strong stance she took and the leadership she showed in relation to the Gender Reform Act. And I admire Russell for his campaigning on law and order issues and for the way he has set out new policy ideas in the course of his campaign. We need all these talents, including his, to come together to take our party forward. So come and join me and my team so we can start fighting our real opponents in the SNP and in Labour. The Scottish political debate is changing. Scotland is moving on from the constitutional obsession that has dogged us for the last decade, and so must we as a party. We've had great success over the past decade, being the strongest pro-union party opposing independence. Now, as people believe, even those who are pro-independence, that that prospect has become ever more unlikely, the salience of that argument has become less powerful. We saw that in the general election last month, and we will see it in the run-up to the vital Holyrood election in 2026. We won the constitutional battle. Now we must win the policy battle. Victims of our own success in beating independence, we've actually lost what was our strongest political argument. We have no choice now but to talk about issues other than the Constitution, with a clear offer to the people of Scotland in terms of the economy and tax, on jobs, on transport, on the NHS, on education, on justice and on the environment. This party is bursting with ideas in all these areas, as we have seen over the past few weeks, and we can bring them all together in a compelling offer to the Scottish people. And that is where the opportunity lies. I know there are many more people who hold Conservative values in Scotland than currently vote Conservative. Some of these people will have voted SNP, perhaps for the last 2 decades, perhaps because they are sympathetic to independence. Now, with independence no longer a prospect, these individuals have been freed up to vote for a party which might not share their view on the Constitution, but is actually offering real solutions to the problems Scotland faces today. By the time we get to the next Holyrood election in 2026, the SNP will have been in power for 19 years. That is nearly 2 decades of failure. 2 decades where our economy has underperformed that of the rest of the UK, meaning we have lower tax revenues to fund vital public services. 2 decades when we have seen our public services crumble. 2 decades when we have seen a lack of progress on vital transport projects such as ferry procurement and the dualling of roads such as the A9, the A96, the A1, the A75 and the A77. 2 decades when our education system, once the envy of the world, has slipped down the international rankings. The case for change in 2026 is undeniable. But we can't just swap one left-of-centre party in the SNP with another in Labour just because it has a different view on the Constitution. Scotland needs real change, and that is what the Scottish Conservatives will provide under my leadership and with the great team that's around me. But first, we have to unite. The clock is ticking. Those Holyrood elections are just 20 months away, and there is no time to waste. So let me just say this in closing. As a party, we can't just go on as we are. To borrow a phrase from another leadership campaign last year, continuity won't cut it. Our members are crying out for real change, and I will deliver it. So let's put the difficulties of the last few weeks behind us. Let's come together as a single team and take our party forward. Let's get on with this now, and let's unite to win. Thank you.